Oh, you're going to love this story, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the Fortune 500 retail stores, the brick and mortar stores, whether it's CVS, Walgreens, Duane Reade, whether it is Best Buy, whoever they are out there, Target, they have a standing order that their employees are never, ever, ever to try to stop shoplifting. In fact, they don't even want them to follow them out into the parking lot as they load all the stolen supplies into their brand new SUVs and drive away. How dare they even take the picture of the license plate so that the cops can follow up in the aftermath? People have been fired all over the country. Fired, and the shoplifters have taken full advantage of that, especially in Manhattan, where it's the land of Alvin Bragg. If you stand and fight for what you know is right, you get arrested, like Jose Alba at the bodega and Daniel Penny, the hero Marine. I'll discuss him momentarily. Whereas if you are a shoplifter, a bootster, and you walk into a retail establishment, all you have to do is tell the cashiers, hey, give me an Alvin Bragg swag bag. I promise I won't shoot. I'm just here to loot. And you could fill up as many bags as possible, duffel bags, hefty trash bags, and walk in and walk out with impunity because nothing's going to happen. And the NYPD won't do anything to you because they've been told by the deputy inspectors in one police plaza, we don't want you to add to the rolls of crime. We want to be able to lie to the people and say crime is down. But we don't want it on the books of our precinct. We don't want to have to go into the Comstat meetings and somehow explain why robberies are up, petty larcenies are up. So just don't take any of the complaints. And that's what's been happening. The most egregious each and every day, and this comes from the NYPD itself, from the city of New York, Department of Transportation, 90,000 packages that are being delivered, and that will increase now that we're into the holiday season with Black Friday on Friday, right after Thanksgiving. These package service delivery businesses are going to be doing double and triple the business, leaving packages everywhere, not just in the city, where 90,000 packages a day are stolen. I'm not embellishing that. I'm not making that up. That's the city figures. And no arrests get made. The porch pirates basically follow the UPS guys and gals in the trucks, FedEx, USPS, or Amazon. And as soon as the package is left, maybe in the foyer of a building, maybe outside of a house or a place of business or in the side alley, wherever it's left, the porch pirates will steal it, go through the contents, and then the provider of the actual product, they suck it up. They take a loss on that, and they'll just send you a replacement. But can you imagine 90,000 a day, and the cops don't want to take any reports in New York City. They don't want to add to the crime rules. But it's not just New York City. It's throughout the suburbs. Nassau, Suffolk, Bergen County, Morris County. The porch pirates are at it morning, noon, and night. And rarely, if ever, is there a complaint or an arrest. How many times they're on your porch and your doorbell now is filming 24/7, 365? You actually have them on film. You go to your local police department or sheriff's office, and they act like you're wasting their time and your time because they're not even going to put it on the crime plotter. But let's get to what happened downtown at University Square the other morning. This is a great story because unlike all these Fortune 500 companies who wave the white flag and invite the shoplifters and boosters to come in and steal whatever they want, do it with impunity, and by the time they hit the streets, they have immunity from arrest and prosecution, especially in Manhattan. The employees of Gristedes and D'Agostino, of which John Katsimatidis is owner and operator, he has about 30 stores in our greater metropolitan area, have shown now that enough is enough. 7 o'clock in the morning, the store called number 82 at University Square in the shadow of NYU down in Greenwich Village 7 a.m., a mutt and scale comes in. No AOC all-out crazy Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, leader of the socialists who encouraged shoplifting, like her mini-me, Tiffany Caban, who actually promoted a paper that says that this is all a myth. Retailers hype the number of products that are boosted and shoplifted, and it's really not as bad as they say. Yeah, right. So he comes in at 7 o'clock, and he's not doing it because his kid needs diapers or baby food, or as AOC said in the summer of 2020, when the locusts were going through the cornfields and breaking into Macy's and all the small retail stores, and de Blasio ordered the cops to stand back, and I ordered the guardian angels to stand up and fill the void. I ended up getting a busted jaw. Other guardian angels were seriously injured, but we did not surrender. We did not retreat. While the horde of Black Lives Matter and Antifa shoplifters, shooters, and looters reigned in on our city streets for 2 days, June 1st, June 2nd, and it was anarchy. It was anarchy that prevailed. So this guy comes in, and what does he steal? A 12-pack of Heineken at 7 o'clock in the morning. And there was one employee there, along with other employees who have decided at that Gristedes, enough is enough. And Justin Ellick, the guy's name is Alex. He's a hero. We need to recognize him. He engaged this mutt, this skell. He told him, leave that 12-pack of Heineken down. You ain't leaving that store with it. And what did the mutt and skell do? He pulled the blade on Alex. Alex very deftly kicked the blade out of his hand and then got into a struggle. They crashed into a table. If you've ever been into Gristedes or D'Agostino's, they always have a table of baked products, pies, cakes, cupcakes, always out there for the customers to sort of meander through. They knocked that table down. Alex holds the guy down. The other employees, they gather around. They're holding this mutton scale down, and the cops come. I don't know if it was from the 6th Precinct of Greenwich Village or the 9th Precinct from the Lower East Side. And he was arrested and charged with robbery. No injuries. We'll see today. Obviously, he's probably going before a judge for arraignment. If they knock it down to petty larceny, a misdemeanor, or they just dismiss it in Alvin Bragland. But Alex needs to be applauded because this employee stopped him, kicking the knife out of his hand at 25 University Square. And this is in addition to what has happened before at Gristedes, a manager that I knew for years at the Chelsea store, and that's a really difficult location. It's a huge store, and there are mutts and skells all over, dope fiends, people who are homeless, emotionally disturbed, who think they got an easy pass to go in and out of Gristedes there and shoplift, loot, and steal. And I remember the manager there, Ray, who's worked for Gristedes for like over 30 years, been very loyal to John over the years. The manager had warned this one mutton scale. He said, hey, leave the cashiers alone. Would you leave the cashiers alone? You're bothering them. Just don't come into the store any longer. And so the guy huffed and puffed and walked out. The guy came back 6:30 the next morning. He had an axe. He put it right by the telephone pole. Ray, the manager, saw him, came outside. He didn't want to create a situation inside the store, so he comes out and he goes, hey, I asked you, please, stay away from this facility. Leave the cashiers alone. And this mutton skell, they called him Axeman, Hammerman, reached for the axe and continued to hit Ray many, many times. He had stitches. There were gashes in his head. He almost killed Ray. Ray recently retired after 30 years of dedicated service. He took a licking and came back ticking. And I got to tell you, this sets a precedent of employees and managers saying enough is enough. You've come in, you've looted, you've stolen, you've boosted products. They see it happening morning, noon, and night. They're tired of these shoplifters. This is the new code. Now, the other day, CVS up on East 84th Street in the heart of the Upper East Side, an axeman came and he busted every window out. And he was clearly emotionally disturbed, and he ran away uptown, eventually to be collared by the police, taken to Bellevue for a psychiatric observation. I guarantee you within 72 hours, he'll be cut loose, he'll come back, and he'll do it again and again and again. The difference in Gristides and D'Agostino, the employees and the managers have said, we're tired of these shoplifters. If given the opportunity, we're going to stop it. We can't allow it to continue. This city is sliding into the abyss. According to Eric Adams, swagger man with no plan that many of you elected, and don't lie to me because you told me, former cop, 22 years. I said he's a house mouse. He's never been on active patrol. He's never busted his shoes. He didn't make collars. He was always a house mouse. He was always behind the desk. Didn't matter. He would bring law and order to the city. What he's doing is bringing chaos and anarchy. He has sided with the illegal aliens. He hedged his bet. He thought if he could be their papachulo, if he could invite them in, because they're predominantly Latinos, that in the future, when they could vote, they would always remember Eric Adams until the day they died and always be beholden to the Democrats, which would be almost a guarantee that he would make it at some point to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, because he would have the black vote as a Democratic candidate for president, and he would have the growing Latino vote, and that is a combination for victory. So he hedged his bet, and he supported the illegal aliens for his own personal gain. Now he has screwed all of us, including those that have voted for him and would continue to vote for him. And now, by 2025, we'll have 29,000 cops. There will be irreparable harm to this city. Earlier today, he was with Jamie Dimon. They were cutting a ribbon for a Chase facility. I got to believe that Chase and the other Fortune 500 companies are saying, we were halfway out the door to Florida and Texas and North Carolina and South Carolina and Georgia and Virginia and parts unknown, Tennessee. And now they'll have more of a reason than ever before to flee because of fright. And how many of you listening out there who had your leg halfway out the door, as long as you could sell your house, it's like 7.5, 7.75 mortgage rate, which makes it a lot harder than it was before. But I think this was the straw that broke the camel's back and will actually increase the exodus, both out of New York City and New York State. I told you so. You didn't listen. And in the words of Ed Koch, now you must suffer. So maybe the next time you wake up, and if you see my name on the line for mayor, you'll do the right thing instead of think another Democrat is going to come to the rescue, because they will not.
Check this out. It's the Rip